West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. I'm on half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, Machel St. Patrick Hewitt, and with me as ever is my partner in crime, Santokie Nagilendran. Santokie, how you doing?
Yeah, Mash, you know, it takes something special to get us out here recording on a Saturday night emergency podcast. But we've witnessed history today. You know, Nepal have beaten West Indies, their first ever win, not just over West Indies, but over any full test member side. First time they played a bilateral series against a test playing side, and first time they've got a win against West Indies. So it's history made in Sharjah. Nepal win by 19 runs. And firstly, Mash, obviously, we're going to get into it because anyone who's followed our preview podcast or our clips on social media will know we said Nepal were the favourites based on all the evidence when you analyse it. But I think first things first, rather than try and sort of undermine or deflect Nepal's win, I think it's only right to congratulate them on what was a win. No matter who we sent out, they essentially beat a side playing under the West Indies banner, not an A team, West Indies first team, their senior team. So it's historic for Nepal. And at the end of the day, they outplayed us, you know, especially when it came to the fielding and their performances there, running between the wickets. So overall, it was a deserved victory for Nepal. But Mash, we're here to look at sort of West Indies' performance. And I think, obviously, we know there were players missing because of the India test. But fundamentally, and I'll get your views on this, this essentially shows how threadbare our cupboard is when it comes to depth in the region. We don't have anyone beyond a first 11 who can compete at any sort of international standard.
Yeah, I to be honest, what I want right now from people watching this is an apology, because I'm sick and tired of telling people where West Indies cricket is at. I'm sick and tired of telling people that anybody can beat us, literally anybody. Do you know what this reminded me of, Santokie? Remember when Papua New Guinea were making us sweat in the World Cup and Roston Chase had to guide us home? And that was our full strength side, right? This is why when you and I spoke about it before this series, I was so confident in saying, yeah, Nepal will win this. We can't play a so-called B team against anyone in world cricket. If we put our B team up against Nicaragua, we would lose, right? So West Indies, I mean, you and I are pretty clear on this. We aren't a full member nation. We're a full member nation in nostalgia terms only. Anybody can give it to us. We can get taken there by any team in world cricket. And do you know what my only shock is, Santokie? My only shock is that anybody's shocked. That's really my only shock. It got so bad that when we were getting taken there, and it was like 65 for 6 or something. I was at I'd taken my daughter to a close friend's birthday party, right? And so all the kids were running around doing musical statues or whatever, and there was me in the corner watching the game, you know, not talking.
No, I had it even worse. I was on the sofa. I was on the sofa and my son Jackson fell asleep on me. So anyone who has a baby will know you can't move once the baby's sleeping on you. You can't move. You got to let them sleep out. So I wanted to turn it off and walk away. I was trapped on the sofa having to witness the whole match and everything unfold.
You could even escape from it.
Obviously, we knew there were players missing. You know, Shea Hope, the captain, Roston Chase, Romario Shepherd, Shafane Rutherford. There were a few players missing. So we saw 4 players make their debut today: Amir Jagu, Akeem August, Naveen Badesi, and Raymond Simmons. So they came into the side. And to be honest, Mash, it was a good start from West Indies with the ball. Akil Hussain and Jason Holder opened up the power play. They restricted Nepal essentially at the beginning. But then it was loose bowling. But what sort of concerned me and what shouldn't have really shocked me was the fielding, Mash. The fielding was poor. We saw Casey Carty essentially spill the ball. There was another one. I think Jewel Andrew dropped an easy sitter as well. It just felt very lackluster in the field. And I think, Mash, straight away, we saw with Nepal, they ran between the wickets. They earned their quick singles. And for me, no matter how much resources you have and stuff like that, you can always compete in cricket by focusing on those fine margins. And I think that's essentially where Nepal showed us essentially what you can do and how discipline can affect you. And we just seem to lack that discipline. I don't know whether it's at this point in time, Mash, it just seems to be a recurring theme throughout the senior side, the A side, this B team side that we played out there, we seem to lack the discipline, particularly when it comes to fielding, and that costs us essentially.
Yeah, and I think something else we should probably also throw in there as well is look how when did we turn up? About 2 days before the first game?
Yeah.
Like, that's not to make an excuse. I mean, I don't know when Nepal turned up, but what I do know is West Indies are in a position, right, in world cricket where we can't afford to give up margins. Like, we have to find those. I was speaking to Bromley's manager the other day, and we were to Bromley's assistant manager, sorry, ex-assistant manager, and he was talking to me about how Bromley managed to get promoted from non-league football into League Two, right? And he was saying, when you're a team without the budget and the quality of players that other teams have, you have to find those margins, those 1%ers that make you better than teams who are technically on paper better than you, teams below you, whatever. And I sometimes look at West Indies and go, do we even look for those 1%ers though? Things like turning up 2 days before the first game. Yes, I know CPL was going on, but we had control over that, right? We had control over when these games were going to be, if they were going to happen. So turning up 2 days before against a team that is highly motivated, plays regularly as a team, doesn't have bear man crying off saying they can't play for West Indies, but can go and play some idiot United States franchise league games a few days later, right? They are a finely drilled unit led by Stuart Law, I believe it is right now. We can't afford to give up fine margins and just turn up. We're not good enough to just turn up, right? So I kind of feel like we handed advantages to Nepal when we don't have advantages to be handing to anybody.
Yeah, exactly. I 100% agree with that. I think, yeah, Nepal worked on the finer things that gave them a competitive edge against us. And even like, with New Zealand beating India last year, they essentially said the same thing. They were like, we know we don't have the same resources as India, but if we work harder than them on the field, we know we can be competitive. And we saw what happened there. So again, it's complacency for West Indies. And Mash, this shouldn't come as a shock to, Raymond Griffin or Darren Sammy. This is something that's been a persistent issue with us. So that was disappointing to see. And if we're just getting into sort of our batting performance, firstly, not our batting performance, our bowling performance, I guess we do have to shout out, obviously, Badesi, the leg spinner. Came in, took 3 wickets, bowled rapid, seemed to have an unusual action, but that was promising signs, take 3 wickets. And Jason Holder with a 4-4 as well, took 4 wickets for just 20 runs. So those were the sort of 2 bowlers. And to be honest, Mash, when I saw
Akil was tidy up front, 4 overs, 1 for 18.
Well, the thing is, Jason Holder and Akil was saying you should, as down bad as we are, you'd expect them as well to perform. They're international players. Akil Hussain, always up there in the rankings for bowling. So you'd expect that from them. And to be honest, Mash, when I saw Nepal hit 148 for 8, I thought West Indies would chase it. I thought, okay, it could be slightly tough, but it's not a mammoth score. On commentary, they were saying 160 plus might be tricky, but 148 is a reasonable target to chase. So I didn't have many concerns. My issue was obviously once we started to bat, I think the first thing is this sort of, I tweeted it earlier and I would have known this before this game, but Amir Jangu shouldn't be opening for West Indies in T20 cricket, right? He's not. If he is to play as a T20, he's someone who should come in at 4 or 5. I don't think he's someone who can get us off to an explosive start. And he hit 19 of 22. And Carl Mayers open with Carl Mayers. So Carl Mayers was someone who I was hoping would be someone who could take the game away from Nepal early on, score some quick boundaries. But this is where Nepal hit us because the run out that they got was crazy. They ran and aimed at one stump and got Carl Mayers out. And just that professional fielding and that ability changed the whole complexion over his head because
Carty's run out as well. It was 2 run outs they affected.
2 run out, yeah, exactly. And those are small. Put it this way: if it was the other way around, would West Indies have taken those chances? We would have missed the stumps, I reckon, at this point. So Nepal made those chances count for them, and that's where, for me, the Mayer's wicket essentially turned the game on his head because he's someone who could have taken the game away from Nepal. But let's go with your thoughts, Mash. What did you make of that sort of having Amir Jangu as the opener? I mean, I know it's something we have to experiment with, but all the signs were there that it was never going to work out, really.
I've seen enough idiots asking for that to happen, though. So.
What did he even? How many?
He opened 3 or 4 times in CPL, but the thing is, when you go and study those innings that he played in CPL, I think it was for Antigua Falcons.
Yeah.
Those innings were things like 52 or 46. If you see what I mean, like anchor innings. This is modern day international cricket, right? We don't want no anchoring ins at the top. And that's not a critique of Amir Jangu. That's not to say Amir Jangu is a bad player. It's just it's a wrong role being assigned for him at too high a level. If you see what I mean, he can play. If Antigua Falcons want him to put him to open in Egypt CPL, that's fine, right? But you can't expect that to extrapolate. If you're only going at 115 in CPL, why would you suddenly do any better at international level?
Yeah,
do you get where I'm coming from now? And the thing is, I don't blame Jangu. I don't even blame the think tank for putting him to open. What I blame Santokie is, where's the... No, I don't even blame. This is just the standard, Santokie. This is just what we've got. Like, what are we supposed to do?
Yeah, exactly. And I think a wider issue, which we can talk about in a future episode, how has it come to a scenario where Amir Jangu, who's clearly a red ball, is his favorite format, right? A middle order batter. How is it somehow that we've sort of come up with these circumstances where the only international cricket he's playing is opening in T20 cricket for West Indies? Doesn't make any sense. The pieces don't match into the jigsaw at the moment. It's all confused at the moment. So Jangu played. This is the thing. It's not a fault of Jangu because his style was never going to be an explosive opener. But he sort of added to the nerves by his slow pace of innings. I think he went at 86 strike rate. Akeem August, to be fair, came out swinging, right? So he just thought, I think he hit 2 sixes, but again, he fell for 15. And there was no really... I'm looking through the scorecard now. I actually forgot. But Dacey was our top scorer. So if you told Badesi you take 3 wickets on debut and be top scorer, man, we thinking he's Gary Sobers out here, bro. Like...
And do you know how he got out, though? Do you remember how he got out?
No, I forgot. How did he even get out? I can't remember.
Man stepped on his wicket, cuz.
Oh, yeah. How did You can't make it up, man.
West Indies were undefeated, you know.
Undefeated.
Actually undefeated.
If you look at the innings, 129 match, and we batted out the 20 overs. Like, we didn't get all out. 129. Nobody apart from Akeem August, no one really went at big strike rate. I think we hit 4 sixes in the whole match. Just nothing really there, match. There's nothing. The batting scorecard is so mediocre, and just from memory, there was nothing really to even talk about in our batting lineup. Like, it was just a down.
Just nothing. There's just nothing. And do you know what we should address, though? In fairness, let's not get this twisted. I'm not even sure. I can't say with any confidence that our first choice team will have beaten Nepal. I can't say with... You might be able to, or somebody listening in live might be able to. I can't say with any confidence that our first choice team could beat Nepal right now. And the thing is, right, I get it. People, they're saying turn up your volume, but I don't know if that's... I can hear you loud and clear, so I don't know. I'll go and look at some settings in a minute. But the thing is, Santokie, what was I going to say here? Yeah, that's it. One of the reasons why I wasn't shocked, or rather expected Nepal to do this to us, I think I said it in the preview video, right? Our A team only just beat Nepal 3-2 in Nepal 18 months ago. And if people go back and look, that A team was stronger than the team that's playing now. So this is why, and I know associate cricket fans and I know world cricket fans will see the name West Indies and go, oh my God, Nepal beat West Indies. But we took a stronger team to play Nepal in Nepal 18 months ago, and we called that team West Indies A. So I get it. I'm not trying to take away Nepal's shine. I'm not trying to take their flowers away from them, but you took 2 games off us in Nepal against a stronger team. You're gonna beat this team. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I just think, obviously Nepal, you saw they had a pretty much 99% of the fan base. So it was essentially like a home game for them, and everything was sort of there. And as you said, Mash, what you referred to earlier on, we had to fight for our lives to get past Papua New Guinea in a home World Cup. So why should it really be any shock? Nepal are a better side than Papua New Guinea, so it shouldn't really be any shock that we've lost the T20 game. The only sort of silver lining for West Indies fans is that the series isn't over. Still got 2 more to go. So let's see if we can pull off an almighty comeback and take the series. But Mash, the one person who sort of benefited, because we've been getting loads of messages, particularly today, Quentin Sampson, obviously the breakout player of the CPL. A lot of people tweeting us saying he should have been in the side. You know, at this point in time, his stock is up there like he's Chris Gale or something because of his power innings in CPL. And that sort of shows you how threadbare our depth is, because the man's only played 5 or 6 CPL games. In the later stages, he didn't even come off. But we're essentially...
Santokie, let me jump in. There are people talking about Quinton Sampson who didn't even know who Quinton Sampson was until this year's CPL. And they're like, Cricket West Indies didn't even know who Quinton Sampson was until this year's CPL. When Sampson got the breakout player of the season in the CPL awards in this year, I saw a picture with Chris Deering with Sampson, giving him the certificate of however much money. And I looked at it and I was like, I bet Chris Deering don't even know who this guy is. Right? That's how much Sampson has come out of the blue. The only people who knew Sampson existed were Guyanese people. I am telling you, Santokie, no one knew about this guy until he just... And he played 5 games in CPL or whatever it was, 6 or 7, and immediately people said, get him in the West Indies team. Is that where we're at, Santokie? That you can just play 7 games and everyone's going jump straight into the West Indies team.
We've basically done that with Badesi, right?
Kurt McKenzie onto the test team. Everyone's just hitting a one innings is all you need, you know. I'm surprised that they didn't watch my net session and call me up, you know.
Yeah, if you think about it, like at the beginning of the year, who would have known who Navin Badesi was outside of Trinidad and Tobago club cricket? Obviously, he came through the breakout league. He's only played, I think, 7 or 8 professional games in the CPL this year, and suddenly he's jumped into there as our number 1 leg spinner because we have no one else. It was either him or go back to Yannick Carey. So obviously, I think these performance means he'll be cemented. So he'll be going to the World Cup match within the space of 6 months. He would have made his... So in August, he would have made his first ever T20 appearance, professional, and within 6 months, he'll be in India bowling at, you know, the greatest in the game in the World Cup. Just because we've got no one else, we're having to fast track man at an unprecedented rate at this point in time.
Do you know how crazy that sounds, though? We are in the trenches, Gus. We're in the trenches. Men are just getting caught. Anyone can get a West Indies cap now. Literally, anyone.
This is you know what? This is morale boosting for the region, because now any man, a man who could be working at a bank, a man who could be working at a supermarket, they'll be thinking, hold on, if I have a good club season, I might be at the World Cup in a few months. West Indies giving hope to every man, bro.
What are you saying? What are you saying? What are you saying? A nuts man in the stadium gonna have a good club season. The man get to the World Cup.
The man in Port of Spain making them doubles on the street corner. Man's thinking, well, I just got to do this for a few more months. You know, one day I'm going to be in the West Indies side, a couple months, you know, a couple good innings. But Daisy probably WhatsApping his boys like, yo, look, man, I'll get you guys in, Bob. It's easy. You know?
I know people are going to say we're taking this for a joke. You know what? We said before we went live. That we were only going to do 20 minutes. Yeah. So I do just want to end on this point.
Yeah.
Because I think I have to pop this point off before we cut the show out. Talk to me about CPL, Santokie, in the remaining 3 minutes we've got, because this technically is the best of the rest, right? Yeah. I've been catching some pelters from people, like some of those short videos went viral on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And I've been catching some pelters behind the scenes from people saying CPL's a franchise competition. It's not about developing West Indies cricketers. We shouldn't be critiquing CPL. That's not its role. What we've just seen today is the best of the rest, right? And what I'm saying to people, Santokie, is if we aren't going to criticize CPL, and if we aren't going to hold them over a fire and say, what are you doing for our region? We might as well pack up everything now then, Santokie, because this is the best of the rest. The same set of dunces that have just been spending the last month jumping up and down in St. Kitts, jumping up and down in St. Lucia, jumping up and down in Trinidad, jumping up and down in Guyana, Barbados, etc., Antigua, jumping up and down over CPL. This is what it's produced for us. This is the best of the rest. and you lot still, and nobody wants to listen to me when I'm saying we might have a problem here. We might have a serious problem here. And meanwhile, Kamala in Trinidad is giving the Trinidad team the highest honors you can get in Trinidad for winning CPL. We're not serious, cuz. We're not serious. What's going on, cuz?
I think if you look at like all the other private franchise tournaments, so like the SAT20, Pakistan Super League, IPL, they all produce young domestic players to go into the national side, right? There's always a handful of players. Obviously, CPL at the moment's not producing quality players. But like you said, Mash, I think part of it is the fact that CPL's got the unique dynamic of nationalism within it, right? So people are just happy. If Guyana Amazon Warriors win, people don't care if 55-year-old Imran Dahir's winning it for them, as long as someone's winning it in the name of Guyana, right? So nobody's looking at overarching themes of like, who are we developing from West Indies' point of view? Because everyone's been blindsided by basically nationalism, right? So that's like what you said, Trinidad and Tobago getting the red carpet rolled out for them, when really we should be asking questions about why the youth man weren't getting into that Trinbago side. Why was Kyron Pollard at 38 one of the best players in CPL? What's going on there? So nobody's asking those questions other than CCP. And that's not going to change because the dynamics of CPL will never change. But that's for wider. We should do a separate episode on that, Mash, because there's a lot to talk about on that. We said, obviously, it's late Saturday night. We've got other things to get onto. We just thought we'd do an emergency reaction pod. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe this video. We're on Instagram, X, TikTok, Blue Sky. If you can donate, patreon.com/CarrotCricket. Share this around, get CCP here, and we'll be doing more content about the Nepal series and the big test showdown starting on Thursday against India. That's been it from us. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are watching in the world. Take care, and we'll see you very soon.
Peace, people.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.